2. All right. Hello, 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 hello. Can you guys hear me now? Let's see here. Let's see here. All right. I think we're good. I think I can hear me back here. All right. We're good. We're good. We cool. We good. We out here. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ACW. Sorry, not ACW. The Newscast with Hakeem Johnson. With yours truly, Hakeem Johnson. It's a special day today. Special day today. I know it's a special day where everyone's trying to gather around and have a fun time and be together to watch some entertainment. And that's why we know that today is going to be the day that the Miami Heat are taking on the New York Knicks. That is what everybody's waiting for today. It's going to be a big game. A lot of people are going to have their eyes on the pulse. They're going to have their eyes on the television. And I think there's like a group of people throwing a foreskin ball or something like that around for like 3 hours with a bunch of commercials that no one's going to buy anything from. I think that's what's happening as well. I'm not sure. I usually have Jeff around for these occasions to let me know, but he's not here. So I think he's probably going to see that as well. But I think it's called like the Super Bowl, something. I don't know. I just don't know. But nonetheless, I guess people are excited for that today. But with all due seriousness, it's going to be a short newscast. I'm not going to hold you up too long because I know a lot of you people have your sights on the Super Bowl today. Quite frankly, I do as well. I'm going to be watching personally. So it's going to be between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mahomes versus Brady. Old school versus new school. It's going to be a big game for a lot of people involved. So you guys can let me know in the chat room who you guys are rooting for, who you guys are betting on or against, who you guys are hoping to pull forward. If you really don't care about that, maybe what commercials you're looking forward to, whatever. Doesn't matter. But be that as that may, we are here today for a newscast. Once again, like I stated, it's not going to be a very long newscast. I don't want to hold you guys up too long. It won't be one of those 2-hour, 3-hour newscasts. It's going to be a pretty condensed newscast as much as I can, but I could not let this week pass by because this week, folks, it's been one of those weeks. It's been one of those weeks where everyone are sharpening their knives, they're loading up the ammo, they're really just preparing for what I believe is a wrestling civil war. And if you've been following this newscast, right? If you've been following this newscast for a couple of years, more specifically, a couple of months, if not weeks with me, you are very well aware that there is a certain tension that is brewing. There is a certain type of intensity right now in the pro wrestling world that is happening. And maybe you're in the business, maybe you are a media type or a journalist type, quote unquote, or maybe you're a fan like I am and you're witnessing a lot of things that are going on that you might not have known, but they're becoming very apparent as we move forward into this new dichotomy of professional wrestling. It's a very interesting time to be a part of professional wrestling. I will say that as much. So we are going to talk about the topics that are on below, a bunch of other things we might talk about during the Q&A portion. But let's get right to it. Let's not waste any time. Let's get to the first topic here. Let's talk about the man of the hour. That was this past Sunday at the Royal Rumble. Edge winning his second Royal Rumble in his career, winning the 2021 Royal Rumble for the men's edition. And we're going to go through the results as well of the Royal Rumble in case you need that to be a reminder or what have you. So, before we get to the results of the Royal Rumble event, in my own opinions about what I saw, because like I keep saying, I don't follow the WWE product in full like I used to. I just don't. And it's been years since I've followed the WWE religiously. That's why I'm able to call people drones, because truth be told, I used to semi-be one. Not one in the sense that I would just defend everything the WWE would do, but I would be somebody in the sense to where even when WWE at their semi-worst would do some of the dumbest things in the world, I would find a silver lining. I would give them the benefit of the doubt. I would find some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, we have long passed that point to where WWE deserves any benefit of the doubt. And anyone that tries to tell you different on the internet or anywhere else are not only full of shit, but they are also trying to deny the fact that there are internal creative problems with that company. Now, granted, we all know about the Peacock deal and how they were able to sign a $1 billion or almost $1 billion contract with the NBC Peacock stream to where they're going to be able to make money hand over fist for the next decade or so. So even if Vince, heaven forbid, goes away, the company will still be solvent. It will still be financially strong even when they move forward without him. The problem is everything within that. And we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. But let's talk about Edge. So Edge was somebody that a lot of people wanted to see win the Rumble. A lot of people thought that he should be the obvious winner. He should be the one going to WrestleMania this year. He's the one that should be getting the win because of what he's done for the business, what he's done for the company, what he has done for many people that he has wrestled with and against. It should be Edge, and they got their wish. Now, there was a big topic. There was a big argument online. There was a big argument on Reddit, Twitter, everywhere that wrestling is talked about, to where, was Edge the right person to win the Rumble? Was Edge truly the right decision? Was Edge the right choice, or was he the only choice, period, to win the 2021 Royal Rumble? All right, so we'll talk about that, but first, let's talk about the Royal Rumble match in its particular form that came from last Sunday. So, we had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Charlotte and Asuka for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. I believe this is the pre-show. Quite frankly, to me, I didn't care for this matchup. I don't care for the team of Nia and Shayna. I think Charlotte and Asuka have been a makeshift team because, one, they don't really have any legitimate teams to go after the Women's Tag Team titles. And two, they don't have anything for Asuka either. Asuka is the WWE Raw Women's Champion. You know, and a lot of these drones will say, well, they're treating Asuka right. She's the champion. Well, what good does that championship mean? What does it matter about that championship if you don't have anyone for her to defend it worthy of her stature, worthy of her status as champion? Because all you're doing at that point is passing the title around because you have no other options and you have no other plans. And it sucks that Asuka is seemingly the fourth wheel in this matchup in particular, and she's the Raw Women's Champion. Now you contrast it with Sasha Banks, who's the SmackDown Women's Champion, and they are treating her as damn near the second in command, the second quote-unquote star behind Roman Reigns on that brand. But Asuka, I don't even think she's top 10 on Raw. That's the difference. That's the surprising factor there. But yeah, Nia and Shayna win it because they have nobody else, and it really doesn't matter. No one really cares. And Charlotte is either going to probably face Asuka and win the title back, or she's going to probably face Lacey Evans at WrestleMania, and Asuka will probably be stuck in the pre-show. She's stuck in the pre-show right now, and she's the Raw Women's Champion. That is unforgivable, especially for someone in Asuka's stature. Now we get to the main card here. Drew McIntyre defeated Goldberg to retain the WWE Championship. As I predicted, as I expected, I knew that Drew McIntyre would be put over here. I think the company, there's a lot of things wrong creatively with the company, but one of the bright lights, one of the bright spots of that company, if you can find them, but this is one of them, is that Drew McIntyre has been a very serviceable, if not strong, WWE champion. Now, at times they have done things to where they made him look a little stupid, or they would make him look a little bit second wheel to other, storylines and angles. But all intents and purposes, they have really treated Drew McIntyre as a formidable world champion. And if not for Jon Moxley last year, I would think Drew McIntyre would be a possible, contender as the champion of the year, quite frankly. But nonetheless, Drew McIntyre defeats Goldberg. It was the right call, the right decision. I have no complaints about it. Goldberg is basically what you're going to set him up to be at this point. He's a special attraction. He's a guy that is going to give you as much as he can at over 50 years old. You should not be winning any world titles over people that you are trying to put over as the new quote-unquote stars of the company. Goldberg did right. He did business. He did the job, and that was the right decision. I have no complaints about it. And Drew McIntyre continues to be elevated even further to where, quite frankly, I know they're looking to go with this whole McIntyre-Sheamus feud heading into WrestleMania, but if I'm WWE, or if I was booking WWE, I really would not have Drew McIntyre lose at WrestleMania. I think Drew is somebody that he has been built strong enough, he has been booked relatively strong enough to where I don't really see anyone that can beat him for that title right now. And it damn sure isn't going to be someone like Sheamus. You've been on that well, you tried that well so many times, and it's not only gotten you little to no benefit The ratings suffered. I mean, they're suffering right now, but they really suffered with Sheamus. And Sheamus is just not a guy that you would really put as a top champion, let alone as a top main eventer. That's just me. Even though he's a solid hand, he's a solid worker, he's not someone that you would really make as a champion. And that's my issue with that. So I just don't think Drew McIntyre should be losing that title anytime soon, really, quite frankly. I think he should beat Sheamus at WrestleMania to retain it. And then, hell, call somebody up that you've been building on NXT. Hell, you can call up a Karrion Kross. Maybe you call up a Karrion Kross and you have him destroy Drew on his first match with Drew, so you can put that guy over and have him be the champion. And then when Drew comes back, they can have a proper feud. That's just what I would do, but again, I don't book the company, I don't run the company. I'm not the HNIC there, I guess. Sasha Banks defeats Carmella to retain the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. I thought it was alright. I will say, like, I'm not a fan of Carmella's gimmick. I will say that. I just find it to be the standard run of your typical kind of cocky, braggadocious character, because Sasha basically is that as well with the boss gimmick. And quite frankly, I know it's kind of a hot take. Maybe I've said this before, but I'm not all too fond with the whole boss gimmick. I just find it to be kind of unnatural with Sasha Banks. I feel like Sasha could be given a better gimmick than that. I've always thought that, even going back to the NXT days when she had it. But I cannot deny that she does come off as a superstar. She does really exceed herself as a superstar, especially right now as champion. So I do think Sasha right now as champion, the WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, is the right call. And considering who won the Women's Rumble match, it's probably going to be the best call they made in that regard. But yeah, Sasha defeats Carmella. It was what it was. It was okay. It was fine. It wasn't anything good, but it was all right. And we do get to the Women's Royal Rumble match. Bianca Belair wins the Women's Royal Rumble in 2021. I have no issue with this. I think Bianca Belair has proven herself to be someone that has a lot of potential. Now, I will say this about Bianca. I know a lot of people think that she is like a great in-ring wrestler, and I want to pump the brakes there, because if you watch that Women's Rumble match at the end with Rhea Ripley and Bianca being the last two, it was kind of rough. It wasn't the best ending sequence of any Rumble that I've seen. But be that as that may, Bianca's charismatic, she's athletic, she's got the look, she's got the pedigree of her athletic competition and her athletic accolades. She has a good feel-good story. I think Bianca Belair is someone that they should really build as somebody that can be a future women's champion. Now, granted, do you put Bianca against Sasha at WrestleMania and have Bianca win it? That's kind of a tough one, because Sasha, you want to do right with Sasha after years of putting that title on her and just taking it back like in a month or a week or so. She's having a pretty lengthy run right now, and right now she fits the bill that you want as a women's superstar, especially as champion. So I don't know if you want to ruin that, but Bianca Belair has so much potential, and it seems like you're going to put the rocket behind her, that maybe you do go with Bianca and say, screw it. It's time to build a new star. Now, granted, we know the WWE and how, quote-unquote, building new stars is a very big oxymoron in the land of the Fed, but in terms of their bubble, in terms of what they look at as a star, Bianca Belair is, if you want to make a star, then Bianca Belair is something that you can do here at WrestleMania. Maybe you do go with Bianca. I don't know. Could it backfire? Maybe. Do you turn either one of them heel? You could do it, Bianca, and you could do it with Sasha. That's kind of the interesting thing about this potential match at WrestleMania. Either one can go heel, and it would be believable. Sasha turns heel. She feels that her spot's being threatened by the new flavor of the month, or the new guard in Bianca Belair. Bianca turns heel. She wants to use Sasha's stardom as a stepping stone to her own stardom by winning the championship at WrestleMania. There's plenty of ways of doing this. So Bianca and Sasha, I do agree that should be a match you can do at WrestleMania. And there's a lot of ways you can do it. Hopefully they do justice with that, is what I would say with that. And as you can see here, I'll play the GIF here because, it's a visual newscast. But there you go. Bianca Belair, the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble winner. She is going to WrestleMania. And there you go. There's a list. I'll read some of the lists here. We had Bayley 1, Naomi 2, Bianca 3 winning it all, 4 Billie Kay, 5 Shotzi, 6 Shayna Baszler, 7 Toni Storm, Jillian Hall making a return at 8, 9 Ruby Riott, Victoria, after years of seemingly being blackballed by the WWE, made her return at the Rumble. Great to see her. 11, Peyton Royce. 12, Santana Garrett of NXT, I believe. 13, Liv Morgan. I said Liv Riot. 14, Rhea Ripley. 15, Charlotte Flair. 16, Dana Brooks. 17, Tori Wilson making a return to the WWE there. 18, Lacey Evans. 19, Mickie James. 20, Nikki Cross. 21, Alicia Fox. 22, Mandy Rose. 23, Dakota Kai of NXT. 24, Carmella. 25, Tamina. 26, Lana. 27, Alexa Bliss or Fiend Bliss, whatever you want to call it. 28, Ember Moon. 29, Nia Jax. And number 30, Natalya. So there you go. Roman Reigns defeated Kevin Owens to become and retain the WWE Universal Championship in a last man standing match. I thought this was good stuff. This comes as no secret to any of you that follow me on Twitter. By the way, my Twitter is @HakeemIsWinning if you want to follow me and watch what I do personally on the Twitter. Nothing inappropriate, or at least as you know. But but if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I have been very impressed with Roman Reigns. It's another rare gem in that company that I've picked out that I can really enjoy. And Roman Reigns as this heel tribal chief has been money. And the reason why we've always had this thing with Roman Reigns and how we've been rejectful of Roman Reigns, because what we saw with babyface Roman Reigns and how the WWE were perceiving Roman Reigns as a babyface, he came off as a blatant attempt as a Cena 2.0. And it's bad enough that we didn't want the original in the first place when you presented him in a way that became obnoxious, and you're trying to do the same thing with Roman Reigns, especially when Roman Reigns isn't fitting the mold with that. So when you turn Roman heel, I was skeptical at first because, you know, Paul Heyman being there, it's like, you get what you get with Paul Heyman. He can still talk good. He can still give you great promos, but it's like, you heard one Heyman promo in 2021, you've heard them all, quite frankly. So him being paired with Roman Reigns, I was kind of because I didn't want it to be like a Brock retread, but it's not. Like, Roman has improved so much during this heel run. His matches have become even more digestible and more entertaining. And this match here, I enjoyed it in terms of what it was, in terms of what it did for Roman. Now, granted, Kevin Owens has been feuding with Roman Reigns for quite a while. And, you know, quite frankly, let's be honest, Kevin Owens has kind of looked out to be a geek in a lot of ways with Roman Reigns in this feud. But Roman Reigns, he's the guy that's going to be put over in this feud, so you can kind of give it some sort of leeway. I enjoyed the spots they were trying to do. There was a spot in particular where they did the whole golf cart where Roman drove over Kevin Owens. And I know a lot of people had to harken back to the Stadium Stampede when Sammy Guevara got ran over by a golf cart, or the Dynamite weeks before where Sammy Guevara really got hit by a golf cart. And let's be quite honest, I know a lot of people are trying to defend it, saying like, oh, well, AEW didn't invent the golf cart spot. Well, AEW didn't create the golf cart. They didn't create that spot. It's been done years ago. Shut up. Just stop. All you smooth brains cannot try to convince me otherwise, let alone yourselves, because you can barely do that properly. The fact of the matter is that spot Sammy Guevara did with this golf cart has been recent. It's been of recent nature. No one's saying that they created the spot. They're saying that it was them that made it popular in modern times. They made it popular in recent times, quite frankly. And so they WWE try to do it their own way. That's a fact. Okay, I'm not saying that Roman Reigns' spot with that golf cart wasn't great. It was. All I'm saying is acknowledge why they did it and how it was done. All right? You don't have to try to defend everything this company does, especially when they don't respect you. You really understand that, don't you? I say this every newscast, and a lot of you guys just simply keep trying to fall for it. You keep falling for the tailpipe. It is what it is, but anyway, disregarding that, I don't want to take away from this match. It was a good match. I think, to me, it was the best match of the night. Roman Reigns has really gelled well in terms of how he's been able to really combat the naysayers, including myself, in terms of how he can be an entertaining force. And he's done a very, very good job in that regard. So kudos to Roman Reigns for retaining the title. And he should be going to WrestleMania to maybe even lose that title. But I don't know. Who do you lose it to? But we'll find out in just a moment here, right? So there you go. And then finally, the Men's Royal Rumble. As you all know, Edge won the 2021 Men's Royal Rumble. Now, I know a lot of people have been talking a lot about Edge winning the Rumble and if there was the right decision or the wrong decision. Now, I didn't want to give a definitive opinion about it, but I wanted to acknowledge that both sides have a point. I know a lot of people are trying to discredit one side or the other. I think both sides have a point in terms of Edge winning this Rumble being a good move or a bad move. The good kind of thing here is that, look, Edge, compared to a lot of these superstars today, he is a star, okay? He is a star. He's a recognizable star for a lot of the old heads, a lot of the nostalgia fans that are still left in this company that you need to reel in for WrestleMania, because we're at WrestleMania season, right? And the WWE just signed a streaming contract with NBC's Peacock. So they're looking to get as many fans as they can to be a part of that subscription service. Now that they're trying to get rid of the WWE Network, at least here in the U.S., but that'll become more of a worldwide thing as it starts to roll out. But irregardless, they're trying to get new fans. They're trying to get their fans into the Peacock service. So they want to get a recognizable star for WrestleMania that can main event a world title match, and Edge is one of them. And also, Edge's story leading up to this Rumble, it was interesting. It was intriguing. Edge felt like he was the guy that had a purpose. He felt like he had his own story arc. He's a guy that you wanted to believe in. He was a guy that you wanted to win. So you can't really necessarily hate the decision they made here. In a lot of ways you can really defend this being the right decision. Now, the wrong decision of the people saying it's the wrong decision. Now, here's the thing. Edge is 47 years old. Now, I know that age is nothing but a number if you're one of the Malia folks and all that, but here's the reality. Edge is 47 years old. Now, I know in professional wrestling today, age in your 40s isn't the same as it was back in 1998. I understand that. There are a lot of wrestlers in their 40s, maybe even 50s, that can still go in certain spots, if not certain matches, if you treat them properly and portray them properly. So it's not a defining factor with or against you, quite frankly. But it does say to the WWE that it feels like they don't have enough confidence in their current roster, that they had to go back to the nostalgia world to pull out Edge and make him win the whole thing. And that is a message that you send to your roster, and that's a message that the roster is going to take in and think, well, why am I doing all this hard work? Why am I caring about a company that is going to just bring out someone like an Edge and have him win the whole Rumble? If I'm working like 2 or 3 years to get myself over, if I'm working hard myself, why should I even try? And there's some honest critique with that. And two, another reason. Look, I like Edge. Edge, during his peak, was one of my favorite characters in the company. But, and I hate to try to say this because it's going to only lead to certain narratives about him, he's not a draw. I'm sorry. Like, I know a lot of people are going to try to go at the whole, well, Edge won his first world title, he was a draw. Yeah, because it was a new person that wasn't John Cena in 2006. Of course, there was intrigue and curiosity for Edge to be a champion that people want to see because it was new, it was exciting, it was fresh. In 2021, 47-year-old Edge, who looks the way he looks in great shape. But I'm not talking about his physique, I'm talking about his appearance. He looks I mean, he's 47. Don't get me wrong, I understand that, but he looks old. He looks older than he should. And if I'm going by the numbers this week from NXT and even SmackDown that was released yesterday, it's not a good sign. You know, we'll talk about the ratings for NXT and AEW later in the show, but Edge was being built as someone that was coming into NXT this week, and it clearly was a counter-programming act to go against Beach Break with AEW. I don't care what anyone says. That was clearly a response for that Beach Break show, which is fine. It's business, but I'm just saying, acknowledge that move. And it not only didn't work, it backfired on them. So then you go to SmackDown when Edge goes there to confront Roman, and the SmackDown after the Royal Rumble sees no Rumble bump. That's not good. It's telling me that people saw the moment on pay-per-view, but they're not willing to watch the show to see how it progresses from there. And that's not good for your main event. That's not good for your WrestleMania main event. If Edge is going to look to go after Roman Reigns for the SmackDown Universal title, and people aren't as enthusiastic as you would think, it just tells you that the people that are in the minority think they have the loudest voice because they do, but they are still the minority, so they truly do not or should not run the entire operation, if you will. So, look, I see the arguments for and against Edge. For me, I'm fine with Edge winning, quite frankly. Because, look, you're out of options here, folks. I'm going to be honest with you. your favorite superstars on the roster, they can be cool, they can be exciting for you, but they're not going to get the job done in the WWE's eyes like Edge is going to. And that's just a fact. Now, you can blame the WWE's incompetence, you can blame their booking, you can blame the fans, whatever. In terms of why this guy's not over, or why this guy's not getting a shot, or why this guy's not going to WrestleMania main event. You can talk about all that. But the fact is the WWE made a conscious decision to choose Edge to main event this WrestleMania. Because they feel confident that Edge can get the job done because he's a proven guy at the top of that stature. That's what they feel. That's what they thought. And that's what they're going to go with. You may not like it, but you're not running the company. And I keep telling you guys, the only way you guys are going to stop this company from insulting your intelligence and treating you like complete shit is to stop watching. Or stop at least watching on television in full every single week. Can you imagine watching Raw for 3 hours every week in 2021? People still do that. And I'm flabbergasted sometimes that people take their time for 3 hours on a Monday in 2021 in the middle of a pandemic to just simply watch a mediocre product that they hope to get better. That has to hurt. I can't do it. I used to. And then I realized this shit sucked. I have better things to do. And I stopped watching in full. If there's something that happens truly great on those shows, I'll go on YouTube and check the highlights, or I'll check a clip or here and there on Twitter. I don't need to watch a full 3 hours to see that this company, this company, let alone the brands themselves, suck. It's not a mystery anymore. So when, Triple H can do that promo years ago saying, these people complain, me and my friends Mark will start watching. Well, lo and behold, asshole, 6 years later, and now you're doing barely $2 million on a road to WrestleMania for your flagship show. Can't even beat this emerging company in AEW on Wednesdays with the people that you try to shoehorn in every Wednesday night. And now SmackDown is getting under $2 million this week. I mean, they'll go back probably this next week, but they're stagnant themselves. These companies are stagnant. I love when I tweeted something on Twitter this week saying that the NXT brand is dead, and people, mostly the drones, tried to come at me as if I'm saying, like, the company's dead. No, you stupid idiots. Thank you, Jericho. But you idiots. The simple fact of the matter is that NXT on USA, yes, I feel it's a dead brand. I feel it's a brand that is just treading water. I feel it's a brand that is subpar to the type of wrestling that is being put out there either by New Japan, by AEW, by Noah, by Stardom, and quite frankly, even Impact to a degree. I think NXT, there's a lot of great talent there. They can do a lot of great things, but they can be doing them so much better elsewhere. And that's kind of the thought I have with NXT. I look at some of those talents. Hell, I drafted some of them during my draft episode, which you can watch on the channel. It's available right now in 2 parts. But I drafted some of them from NXT. I drafted the Karrion Crosses, the Santos Escobars, the Kyle O'Reillys, the Io Shirai's. I know how good they can be. I know how great they can be. But it's like, you don't even really know that because of the brand they're in and the way they're being showcased a lot of the time. And it's just a reality, and Jones can accept it. I would at least want Jones to be honest with the disdain with AEW and just admit, yeah, I just want to defend NXT and WWE because it's my childhood, because I grew up with it, because I just am used to that type of wrestling. Okay, fine, at least you have a reason to defend it. But when your reason goes beyond and saying, oh, look at AEW and New Japan, they're partnering, they can't even get $1 million, you just come off as a shill. You come off as an ignorant shill that just likes to watch a lot of Cornet podcasts and read a lot of Squared Circle Reddit and think that you're some sort of wrestling expert that's been watching wrestling for 30 years when you've only been watching for 5 years. You're not fooling anybody. You're not a real wrestling fan. You're just somebody that just wants to play team, flag football with your favorite company. Shoot, I like AEW more than NXT and WWE in general. That doesn't mean I can't criticize AEW for a lot of the things that they do, which I did this week anyways. You gotta, break that condition. You gotta break that propaganda. You've gotta let go of that nostalgia. Yes, I used to love the Attitude Era in the new generation, the Ruthless Aggression too. But that time is over. We gotta start building these guys now. Because if we don't build these guys now, you're seeing the results as they are right now. If you don't build these guys now, you're seeing the results as they are now. But there you go. Edge wins the Rumble. I'm fine with it for now because of the moment and why they had to do that. But it's WrestleMania season. You got to start picking shit up now because what's going on in wrestling right now, you cannot slack. You cannot just rely fully on the WrestleMania brand to carry you to March this year. It's a different environment this year. It's a different wrestling world right now, quite frankly. There you can see Edge there as he looks at the WrestleMania sign. Didn't get the point picture, but who cares? But Edge goes number 1. He wins the whole thing at number 1. Number 2, Randy Orton. 3, Sami Zayn. 4, Mustafa Ali. 5, Jeff Hardy. 6, Ziggler. 7, Nakamura. 8, Carlito. Making a return to WWE. Looking jacked, brother. I mean, hey, Vince, get the strap. He's ready. That man is ready to be world champion, goddammit. He's a spitter, too, so you know he's a world champion in your company. And number 9, Xavier Woods. 10, Big E. 11, Morrison. 12, Ricochet. 13, Elias. 14, Damian Priest of NXT, so he's been called up. 15, The Miz. 16, Matt Riddle. 17, Daniel Bryan. 18, Kane. 19, King Corbin. 20, Otis. 21, Dominic Mysterio. 22, Bobby Lashley. 23, The Hurricane. 24, Christian, who had a good reunion with Edge in the ring. 25, AJ Styles. 26, Rey Mysterio. 27, Sheamus. 28, Cesaro. 29, Seth Rollins, making his return since Survivor Series. And number 30, Braun Strowman. So, there you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is your Royal Rumble as it is. That is what went down. So, there you go. So, let me know in the chat room. Let me know in the chat room. What did you think of the Royal Rumble this year? What were the matches that you liked the most? What were the matches that you liked the least? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Did you guys think this is one of the better Royal Rumbles of the past year? Are you guys okay with the Royal Rumble winners this year? Did you might have a different decision about who should have won the Rumble? I'll be honest. In the men's Rumble, I thought Big E should have won. I thought Big E should have won the Rumble because I thought they would have done something to build up to him winning the Rumble, but as they were booking him, you can tell that he wasn't going to win the Rumble, so I guess that just wasn't going to happen. But anyways, you just let me know. You let me guys know. I thought the Rumble was all right. I thought it was fine. I mean, I will say this: like when you don't watch WWE weekly, when you really don't watch WWE weekly, it really doesn't like bother you as much as if you did watch it weekly. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you watch WWE weekly, I'm talking about Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, Superstars, Main Event, and even the pay-per-views and all the WWE Network programming. If you watch all that every week, yeah, that shit should be killing you right now at this moment. It's bad for your health. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Physically and mentally, watching WWE in 2021 in that nature is bad for your health. I don't give a damn what you say. But if it's like Rumble season and you want to watch the Rumble and then you'll come back for WrestleMania and then maybe you'll come back for SummerSlam and you really don't follow the company like that, then you can tolerate it. You can sustain your indifference with it. Although I will tell you, I was watching the Rumble here and there were some things that made me think into the back of my head, no wonder I don't watch this shit no more. This shit is awful. This shit is just not good. I mean, if you watch it still, more power to you. You're a better person than I am. You're a better watcher or viewer or spectator than I am. I simply just can't do it anymore. It's gotten bad. It's gotten bad. It's deteriorating bad. So, but that's what the WWE is doing. That is what the WWE is doing in their own little world in terms of what they feel is the right thing to do. And then we get to a different world. And then we get to another world that's doing a lot of big things in their own way. As you can see, these photos are not doctored. I'm not going to lie here. I'm not making things up here. But yes, New Japan Pro Wrestling star KENTA, the legendary KENTA. You put respect on that man's name. But yes, KENTA, as you can see there, made his appearance at AEW Beach Break on Dynamite this past Wednesday in the main event, which was actually a great main event, by the way, between the Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers taking on Pac, Phoenix, and John Moxley. A great six-man. Kenta showing up at AEW was a moment. It was a moment. I know a lot of people are trying to downplay this. I know a lot of people are trying to shit on this moment as something not great. Like, just shut up. It's just like, it's funny. It's funny to me how people simply cannot let their hatred and disdain for certain things be put aside and not see the bigger picture of what this ultimately means. And this is why I want to do this newscast today, because I want to talk about this real quick. I mentioned this earlier in the newscast, and I mentioned it on Twitter this week, and quite frankly, I've been mentioning it for months. And a lot of people were trying to push back on it. A lot of people didn't want me to bring it up. A lot of people didn't want me to really talk about it because they thought I was crazy. And you know what? You might be right. I am kind of crazy. But you got to be a little crazy to think these sort of things. What you are witnessing, ladies and gentlemen, folks, you are witnessing a wrestling civil war taking place. Now, imagine a company having the balls to do all this during WrestleMania season. Many companies in the past, and that includes WCW, would not dare to put some of their best work during WrestleMania season because the WWF would be on full blast. They would be on full throttle. They would be on putting their working boots on to put on the best television, the best entertainment possible. No one would dare try to do anything crazy at WrestleMania season. The game's changed. The game has completely changed, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and show you how this all kind of goes about. As you can see here on Kenta's Twitter at Kenta G2S, the door is open. Did you see there? The forbidden door, ladies and gentlemen, is open. See there, Tango Low on the side here tweeting, I look forward to coming by to check out the new spot. And I called Tango Low as a bluff. I said, bet you won't, bruh. Bet you won't, bruh. Just teasing. But nonetheless, it's real, folks. Those times that we talked about the forbidden door being close to being open, but not really being there. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, we have that now. I think this is great for business. I think this is great for professional wrestling. Because think about it. Think about this really long and hard. Even if you are a WWE fan, right? Even if you really are not fond of New Japan or AEW, even you've got to sit there and think, yo, this is pretty awesome. Because there's so many opportunities. There's so many options where you can take this and make it truly great. The fact that a New Japan talent went into AEW Dynamite to disrupt an AEW match that involved the Impact World Tag Team Champions. That is insane. Can anyone tell me if that would have ever happened 5 years ago, let alone a decade ago? And this is what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it truly comes down to, in my opinion. The fact of the matter is, I do believe that while the WWE is not going to die, they're not going to go out of business. They're not WCW in that regard. They just signed a $1 billion deal with Peacock. They're going to be fine in that regard. But the era of the monolithic stranglehold that this company has had on this business, that is dying. And if all these companies do the right thing, if all these companies align, if all these companies are able to figure out what they need to do in order to be the antithesis of a federation that is looking to control everything that they see fit, then you know what? We're in the future of professional wrestling, and one is going to win over the other. There are two philosophies right now that are butting heads, and one of them are going to win out. Which one is it going to be? Who is going to be the one to stand tall at the end of this? Because make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it. The steps have been there. Shit's been bubbling for years. I will always, 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 always defend the fact that the WWE raid of AJ, Nakamura, and the Good Brothers from New Japan was the first direct, obvious shot of the WWE to the other world of professional wrestling. It is truly WWE versus the world, and it's not a Nintendo 64 game, quite frankly. This is real. I think the WWE have been doing a lot of things that is beneficial to them, but at everybody else's expense, whether that's a company, a fan, a talent, a media personality, what have you. They have done everything in their power to become the only company that matters through their perfect propaganda of the way they try to present themselves. They have made it very clear that they want to be able to be the only company that matters to the masses when it comes to professional wrestling. And they have done a good job of that post-2001. They have done a great job at that for 20 years, almost 2 decades. But now we're in a world, we're in a new era in professional wrestling where now these kids, the new kid on the block AEW, are going to do things different to where the WWE are going to either have to follow suit or go to war. And they look to be choosing the latter. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't think, let's really think here, because I know a lot of you guys are smart when you're listening to this newscast. That's why you're listening, right? But no, honestly, think about it. Meiko Satomura just came in NXT UK. Suri is following very soon to WWE as well. Probably for NXT as well. AEW and New Japan have now, at the very least, gotten to some form of partnership. And now AEW, which we will get to in a minute here. As a matter of fact, let me pull this up right now, so that way you can understand that this ain't no game, right? Let's see here. Where is it? Here we go. Let me pull this out real quick. I want you to look at that real quick. Those are the Wednesday night ratings of this week. NXT got 610,000 viewers compared to 844 viewers from AEW. A almost 15% increase for AEW and a 15% decrease of NXT. The coveted 18-49 demo, 0.32 for AEW, 0.15 for NXT. Combined viewership, interestingly, is not changed. 1,454,000. And then you can see here the charts. NXT did not chart. It charted, I believe, in 51 or 52. As you can see, AEW, they charted 3rd. It's my opinion here that I believe, if you don't think, as I just mentioned about the Japanese stuff in terms of Meiko and Sari coming into WWE and AEW and New Japan doing this partnership, and now New Japan have now signed a deal with with Roku to have their televised show on Thursdays. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think the WWE will not respond with some sort of counter action, you have not been paying attention. This is your first time here. If you don't think they're going to do everything in their power, to simply, I don't know, start up NXT Japan again. Oh yeah. Make no mistake about it. Kairi Sane is still signed with WWE. Sari is coming in. Meiko is coming in. You know, Big June, my boy, he's been talking about training over there. A lot of moving pieces are happening right now in professional wrestling. I do believe that WWE, in their utter arrogance and their utter selfishness, are going to try to start up NXT Japan again. You've heard the rumors for years now. I do believe the WWE are going to look to at least once either buy a company out from Japan, or they're going to just establish their foothold bigger in that country. But here's the deal, though. Here's the thing, though. Japan ain't the UK. Japan, for all intents and purposes, are not marks like the ones in the UK. The UK bought a bill of goods from the WWE that they were going to come into the country to revitalize British wrestling, Irish wrestling, Scottish wrestling, whatever. bought these companies, ICW, WXW, Progress, have them all under the WWE umbrella so that way they can be shown on the WWE network. They can get more publicity. They can be seen more visibly by other people that have not heard of them before. You fast forward to 5 years now, and what has British wrestling done for WWE? What has WWE done for British wrestling, UK wrestling? Now, granted, I do have my UK followers here probably, but ultimately, what has WWE done for the UK? To me, as somebody that's from California, nothing. I feel that the companies that went with the WWE were owned by a bunch of money marks that simply bought the bullshit for that WWE would take care of them and that they would promote them and yada, yada, yada. And quite frankly, they were sold a bill of goods that have not turned up to be anything fruitful. And then obviously from last year with the whole speaking out allegations, it's like, what the fuck is British UK wrestling at this point? What is it? You know? I mean, you've got your people like Pac in AEW or Will Ospreay from New Japan that have seemingly escaped, but for them, and then obviously the other, UK wrestlers that had to flee ship and run to the WWE for their UK brand, which only got started because ITV was talking about doing World of Sport again, and they were threatened that this whole World of Sport could threaten their UK expansion. That's why they did it, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There were certain people that tried to tell you that the WWE coming into their whole culture that they were trying to revive and build again, which was thriving for a while, was going to completely suck it dry and leave it for dead. And lo and behold, look what we have now. And now look at this. Look at NXT UK. Who the fuck watches NXT UK? I don't deny that there are talented people there. All right? I don't deny that there are people that really do want to make an earning. They want to make a living. They want to be able to wrestle. But who watches that show? It's like, do people watch it more than 205 Live? Because if that is the case, then that should tell you something. Nobody watches NXT UK. No one checks for NXT UK. Which is sad, because that was only a counteraction by the WWE to stop World of Sport, which they did. And now WWE feel confident enough, they feel arrogant enough to do the same thing in Japan. It's not going to work. I don't know why Vince and Hunter and all the management up there keep thinking that Japan's going to be the savior of what they're looking for in NXT. The WWE brand over there is just like, Barnum and Bailey's here in the U.S. They're a circus act. They're a variety act. They're a variety touring act that comes there every once in a while. But it's like, compared to what New Japan and Noah and All Japan and Dragon Gate and even Stardom to a degree, no one checks for that. But again, it's just another moving piece of this wrestling civil war that you are a part of as a wrestling fan. It's another piece in the wrestling civil war that is going to become more evident as the time goes on. Okay? Listen, the Peacock deal has been signed. There's been rumors that NXT might be moving there come the end of the year. Which, quite frankly, they should do. Sorry, Jones, but all the arguments of, NXT was on Wednesdays first means shit to me, because it was there first on Wednesdays, but let's not act like in terms of television, when AEW and NXT would be on TNT on Wednesdays, the NXT wasn't being moved to the USA Network that same day for that same reason. Okay? You can try to bullshit people that don't know better. You can't bullshit me, because someone like me can read the writing on the wall before a lot of people. That's where Hakeem Adamas comes from. And look, I'm not always right. I get things wrong, and sometimes I like to be wrong. But it's scary that most of the time, I'm right. That's the point. So, look, if you enjoy NXT UK, that's fine. That's your deal. I just feel like it's a waste of time and resources with the company that can be doing so much things better. Quite frankly, look, you've got so many people that are stored into your warehouse. It's called the Performance Center, that you don't even use them properly, to where, look, someone like Tay Conti can leave WWE and go to AEW and prove so much better than her staying there in the Performance Center learning how to do forward rolls. Okay? So, at the end of the day, WWE's going to have to make a decision. Because right now, AEW controls the youth right now in terms of professional wrestling, in my opinion. And they're partnering up with companies like New Japan and Impact. and AAA, and it appears like Tokyo Joshi Pro. There are a lot of moves that they could be making right now that's going to threaten WWE one way or another. So do they choose to play ball, or do they choose to go to war? And if they're going to go to war, how are they going to try to stop this whole thing from happening? Because quite frankly, both of these worlds cannot exist. And they won't exist because they butt heads naturally. They go against the grain on each other. So they can't exist together. There will be no cohesion. There will be no coexisting. One's got to go down. One philosophy of wrestling is going to go down by the end of all this. And that's just where we're at. But what do you think? Do you think that we're in a wrestling civil war? Do you think that the WWE is going to be able to sustain what's going to probably happen in the future? Do you think AEW are correct in terms of what they're doing with their philosophy? Do you even think this AEW New Japan partnership is a good idea in the future? Do you think it's beneficial to AEW and New Japan? A lot of questions. Let me know what you think in the chat, and we'll talk about that. But yes, I've said it for months. I was ridiculed about it on Twitter. I mean, I'm the same guy that was ridiculed when I called out NXT for no longer being the same brand as it once was during Survivor Series 2 years ago, when people gave me shit for that. And now I'm looking more vindicated by the day, as everybody else has egg on their faces. So, I mean, I don't mean to brag, but neener, bitch. So, be that as that may, that's what's going on with the Civil War. We'll see where it goes from here. We'll see if anything happens, but we don't know. We don't know. So, told you it's a short newscast today. So listen, if you guys have any questions or comments you want to post on the live chat for me to answer or talk about, do so now so we can go ahead and get those out the way, and we'll talk about it. Because like I said, I'm not here to keep you guys any longer than you need to be. We've got a Bucks, not the Young Bucks, but we got a Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kansas City Chiefs game to witness tonight, so I will not keep you here as long as I should. But if you have any questions or comments, you guys can let me know. So let me know what's going on, y'all. Let me know, and I'm just gonna scroll down and see if anything has popped up during this whole news. See if anything has popped up here. Let's see here. Anything go down here? Kind of a quiet day, quite frankly. Kind of a quiet day with wrestling, which probably is a good thing. Let's be honest here. Let's see. All right, are you ready for some football? Yeah. I'm watching, eating, and drinking. That's what I'm doing today. Shoot, so that's what I'm pretty much doing today. Yeah. Let's see, Charles Roberts. Will AEW get a title to counter WWE's Cruiserweight division? I don't think they should. It's kind of pointless. I mean, AEW, for all intents and purposes, had that style all across the board. Certain exceptions with talent here and there, but I mean, they have that style anyways, and they do it better, quite frankly. To me, WWE have never been able to do a proper Cruiserweight division, or lightweight, or Cruiserweight, or whatever you want to call it. They've really never been able to do a proper Cruiserweight division. The only time they really almost got it right was during the whole Cruiserweight, Classic. The first one, the only one, quite frankly. That's what I thought. That's the best Cruiserweight stuff they can do. But other than that, I just never thought they were the company to do Cruiserweight action correct. I thought WCW did it better with the Cruiserweights. I thought TNA did it better with the X Division. I think AEW does it better with their style of wrestling. I think New Japan does it better with their junior heavyweight division. So, that's just me, though. And honestly, AEW doesn't need any more titles. I think they've got it fine right now. They've got a world title. They got the TNT title. They got the women's title. They got the tag title. I don't count the NWA women's title or any other titles that they're partnered with. So they've got 4 titles. That's more than enough for a 2-hour show. That's perfect. Grim Rocker, who do you think should be WWE champion after Drew? Who do I think should be champion after Drew? Are you saying who do I personally think, or who do I ultimately think WWE will make champion after Drew? Because if I'm saying who should be WWE champion, in my personal opinion, god damn. I mean, one, I'm not even following this company like that, but even then, even if I was following this company, like, who do you even really pick properly? No to Orton. We've had enough Orton world title reigns at this point. I'm sick of the Fiend. I don't want him anywhere near that title right now. You know what? I'm gonna go with my answer earlier. Call up Karrion Kross from NXT. Have him destroy Drew McIntyre on his first night, and he becomes the world champion. I just don't find anyone currently on the Raw brand to me that is interesting enough or intriguing enough to be the champion after Drew, because I think Drew McIntyre has been a formidable, strong world champion, and if you're gonna make someone a world champion after him, he's got to be equally as strong, if not better, in my opinion. You've got to make him be the guy that can truly go after Drew and put him away as champion. And I was almost gonna say Brock Lesnar, but it's like you don't really want to go with Brock Lesnar either. So I know Doug just said Keith Lee. They've already cooled off on Keith Lee. I'm sorry, like. I mean, I would have picked Bobby Lashley, but it's like they just kind of don't want to. It feels like with Bobby Lashley, they want to tease going there, but they really don't want to do it. Is my thing. I would have loved for it to be Keith Lee, but they've cooled off on him so much to me that I just don't see him being a formidable threat to Drew right now. I just don't see it. Matt Riddle they've cooled off. Ricochet they definitely cooled off. Bobby Lashley, they just kind of are 50-50 with him. So I just personally think you might as well call up Karrion Kross. Screw it. Might as well. Fuck it. A Karrion Kross, Drew McIntyre feud probably will do some good for him and Drew himself. But, yeah, man, just, it sucks. It sucks that company just tries to beat you down with a lack of confidence and support to where you feel like you can't really be up to your potential. I want to say this too, like, because I know somebody will ask me about it during the chat maybe, but I know people are going to ask me about Cesaro re-signing earlier this weekend. Look, I don't want to tell him not to, because look, it's your decision. If you want to make your money and have security in your life, especially during a pandemic, I understand it. I really do. But fuck me, bro. It's like, you look at Cesaro, and he just wrestled Daniel Bryan, which I did watch that match on YouTube or whatever, but it was great from SmackDown this past weekend. And you just look at Cesaro, and it's like, fuck. Why are you not reuniting with Chris Hero right now, dude? Why are you not giving me a one final run with the Kings of Wrestling as a swan song? It's like, why do you want to keep Claudio retired? It just sucks, man. And it's like, I don't want to hate on the man too much. It's like, you got to do what you got to do for yourself and the people around you to be secure. I'm not even trying to hate like that, but it's like, fuck. I look at this dude and it's like, damn, you would be so great. You would be so great in New Japan. You would be so great in AEW. You would be so great doing a final indie run, quite frankly. It just, it's like the people that I see in that company with so much potential to do so much great stuff just don't see to not take that risk and chance to really make that happen, and are rather complacent by staying in that company. And for many people, I don't blame them for doing that, but it's like, fuck, man. It's like, you might as well give up on them if that's the case. It's like, you know that they will never get to that position that they want to ever get to. And even if they do give him the title, the world title, or any title as some sort of phantom title or something to shut the fans up, you know it doesn't mean anything. If they're not going to do anything with him as champion, or if they're just going to screw him over by the next month, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, dude. It just doesn't. So, but yeah, I'll go with Karrion Kross being the one to be called up from NXT and destroying Drew McIntyre to become a champion. That's what I'll just go with. Screw it. JC 1986, what are you looking forward the most this upcoming week? The 2 New Beginning shows in Hiroshima, AEW Dynamite with Omega and Kenta versus Moxley and Archer, or Noah in the Budokan on Friday. Well, as someone that's not been really fond of New Japan up until recently, quite frankly, I mean I've been keeping track of the New Japan of the New Beginning shows, and it's like, I'm liking certain things I'm seeing. I'm not liking certain things I'm seeing. They really are teasing that Sonata main event run with Ibushi, man. It's like, I don't know about that. The Great Okan is starting to rebuild. I think the whole Empire is starting to rebuild from the losses from Wrestle Kingdom. Tanahashi being the open weight champion is pretty cool. Him and Shingo, by the way, had a banger of a match, I think, last week, bro. That was some great shit, dude. Shingo, dude, I drafted Shingo last episode of the Newscast so high on the card because I know that man's great. He can work with anybody and give him a great match. Shingo, once this pandemic for the most part goes away and we start getting back to the business at hand, I would love if we're going to do this AEW New Japan partnership, I would love for Shingo to be brought up and just wrestle Pac, bro. Just a little bit of a Dragon Gate flashback, dude. Shingo is somebody that should be successful in the U.S. right now. Like Phoenix is right now. Just my opinion. But with Noah, I know the match with the Shiozaki and Muto. Look, I know people are kind of iffy with the Muto thing, and it's like it's like it's not the same as Goldberg, but I don't need to see a broken down old Muto winning the title either. Like, I get it would be a moment, but it's like Shiozaki's putting on some stellar matches and some stellar stuff right now, and it's like I don't want to lose that title anytime soon. I mean, I'm a Kendo Mark, don't get me wrong, but it's like I think Shiozaki right now is a guy that's the proper champion at the moment, so I wouldn't take that title off him. And I am looking forward to AEW Dynamite because that's going to be a banger of a match for one, and two, the implications behind it. The fact that a New Japan wrestler is going to wrestle on Dynamite, well, technically it's a lights out match, quite frankly, but the fact that they're going to wrestle on Dynamite, it's crazy. You would never have thought this would happen a year ago, or at the start when AEW was, thought up. All those rumors that Harold Meiji was the roadblock between New Japan and AEW. Now that he's gone, now all of a sudden AEW can mention Tanahashi or can mention Ibushi winning the titles at Wrestle Kingdom. Or now that we can make some nods to New Japan. Or now we're just doing Kenta invading AEW Dynamite. It's great stuff. Shit does not happen on accident. It's a pattern. All I know is that come Wednesday we're going to be smoking that Harold Meiji pack, boy. When we watch that match. Get fucked, Harold. Get fucked, Harold. Get fucked. So there you go. Eris, who do you think deserves to be world champion in any promotion? I think this might not be my only answer, but in terms of Impact Wrestling, it should be Moose. Like, I'm following Impact here, and it's like, I like Rich Swann. He's a talented wrestler. He does not come off as a world champion. He just has not been, to me, a world champion player. It just is what it is. I really don't want to shit on Rich because Rich is really talented. He can really wrestle a lot, but he's not world champion material, man. And not a lot of these wrestlers that we try to say that are world champion material aren't. People need to understand, as fans, we need to understand that not everybody can be a world champion. Everybody has a role to play in wrestling. Some people, yes, deserve to be world champion because of the potential they have. And others, frankly, are not in the standard or in the measurement of being that world champion, no matter how many times you want to will it to existence. There are roles to play here, and that's just a simple fact of the matter. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. So, there you go. And now Harold Meiji got edited out of New Japan World. Yeah, I saw that tweet you made there, bro. That's crazy, man. That's the pettiness of New Japan that I've come to love, man. The fact that Harold is basically persona non grata in terms of his existence of recently. So, and I doubt that's going to be the last time we're going to see a lot of those moves about Harold in New Japan programming, quite frankly. Let's see. The Fiend should have never been champion. If they did The Fiend right and consistently, then I wouldn't have minded him being champion. But with the way they've made The Fiend and how they have made him so cartoony when he should be enthralling, when he should be intimidating, no, I don't like him at his current state. And no, I did not like him being world champion. And now it's like Alexa Bliss doing this shit. I don't know why people think Alexa Bliss is like so great at this role. She sucks. She's really not that good, guys. Like, I'm not even trying to really say like this gimmick would have been, perfect if she didn't do it, but I'm looking at these clips here of Asuka being scared of fucking Alexa Bliss. I don't give a fuck what kind of possessed demon is in her. Hey, don't be lewd. But regardless, I don't give a damn what demon is inside her or whatever. There ain't no way an Asuka, especially as the Raw Women's Champion, should be scared of any fucking Alexa Bliss, of any gimmick or what have you. That's ridiculous. And Alexa's just not that strong of an actor or character to pull it off. I'm sorry. If he had done this with maybe Nikki Cross, maybe. But Alexa Bliss, nah, sorry, man. No buys. Miz will probably won't get the title. They'll set him up to fail. God, I hope the Miz really fails that cash in. I was a proponent of Miz being a world champion about 3 or 4 years ago. It was around the time he cut that promo on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack, where it's like, that's the Miz that could be a world champion. But this Miz right now, fuck no. No buys. He's a geek. He's a mid-card geek, which, I mean, I know, breaking news, but irregardless, I think this is just a Miz that is content of being a WWE corporate guy. He'll do the promotions, he'll do the PR, he has his own show on the USA Network, he does a lot of things outside of the ring. I think he's content in knowing that he's the company guy they can go to rely on a lot of promotional ideas and shows. But other than that, him as world champion, I think at this point, it's been a decade, it's passed him by. The last time he was world champion, it didn't really end all that well, so I think they probably shouldn't go down that well at this point. Let's see here. Vince did Keith Lee dirty. You know what? He kind of did. I was really hoping and I was really defending Vince in this aspect that he's the one that could get Keith Lee. Because with the way Keith Lee was being booked in NXT, I thought Hunter was shit with him. I thought Hunter didn't know what to do with Keith Lee. I think Hunter was somebody that thought Keith Lee was going to be this when he should have been that. So I thought, Vince, with the way he portrayed him at Survivor Series and at the Royal Rumble last year, maybe he'll, maybe that Vince will be the one to really get how to do with Keith Lee. And it looks like I'm being proven wrong. So who knows? But only time will tell. The Fiend is a character who doesn't need a belt. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, if you're over enough, if you're over to the point where the belt is going to be an accessory rather than a improvement for you, then you really don't need a belt. I know a lot of people think, Jake the Snake should have been a, world champion, and there might be some argument to that, but, I mean, he was over without the belt. He didn't need the belt to get over. And usually when you use the title, when you use the, the world title or any kind of title, it's there to get you over. And then once you get the title, you're supposed to make the title yourself. The belt doesn't make the champion. The champion is supposed to make the belt. That's how it's supposed to be. It's a tool to be used to get you over. But now, companies like the WWE and other promotions, quite frankly, have used that aspect of the title getting a person over that they over-rely on it to where now no one's over. If you're a champion, anyone can be a champion. And that's just simply something that I don't agree with. Like, I know, like, there are times where wrestlers maybe deserve the title. Wrestlers deserve the world title or what have you. But not all of them. This is not a participation trophy here, okay? Alright? If you draw a lot of money, if you draw a lot of crowd reaction, if you are visible, if you have a certain aura of you to where they can use you to their fullest potential, you will be rewarded the world title. Period. You begging on Twitter and online that you should be world champion and you're a fucking wrestler, you come off as a mark. And quite frankly, you'll shit on people online for being a mark, but here you are saying how, oh man, I should be world champion. It's like, bro, you're making more money than I am. Being world champion, yeah, you get a little bit more money, but it's like you are making money more than me. All right? If you really feel that way, then quit the company and go to a company that will treat you to your potential, to where if you do so enough, you will be rewarded a world title more efficient than the company that you previously worked for. If you're not going to do that, then shut up. Sorry. That's how I feel about that. It's like too many wrestlers bitch. Too many wrestlers are entitled. You know, a lot of these wrestlers will tell fans, "Oh, you never wrestled in a ring. Oh, you never did this. Oh, you never took a bump. Why are you telling me how to do my job? Why don't you shut up?" Here, you're the same person that will go to the airports and you'll try to ask, "Where's your flight? Where's this? Where's my package? Where's my cabbage? Where's all this? And where's that?" But then at the same time, you're saying, like, have you ever flown a plane? Have you been able to work in the airports? Have you been able to work the intricacies of how to be able to receive baggages there and bag your luggage? So you're being a hypocrite. A lot of these wrestlers, and I keep saying it, a lot of these wrestlers are hypocrites. A lot of these wrestlers play a character, not just in the ring, but outside of it as well. Especially now in the social media world. Which is why I laugh when a lot of these drones, a lot of smooth brains, a lot of stands, a lot of just weirdos online try to be so toxic and insufferable around these wrestlers like they give a fuck. It's like they only give a fuck to a point where you can pay them. It's a work. Do you understand this business is a carny business? They work you enough to where they can get your money, and then afterwards they don't have to do shit. That is a state that has been wrestling to a T. Yeah, shit's evolved, things have changed, but the game is still the game. And if you're a wrestler in that game, you either learn to play dirty or you don't play the game at all. Simple as that. What Super Bowl food do you want to eat on Super Bowl? I mean, chips. I mean, I don't have like Super Bowl food. Like if I have chips or popcorn, I mean they're there, but it's like it's nothing that I prepare for. It's like as long as I have food, and probably in this case some liquor, if not beer, I'll be fine. I'll live today. You're lucky I'm not drinking on this newscast right now because I was tempted to do so, like the Christmas episode, but I restrained myself. I will be doing that afterwards. Off-topic questions. How are you? And are you caught up with anything like anime, call, movies, etc.? Well, I am doing fine. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. I am doing pretty well. Just pushing on through, man. Just trying to stay happy for the sake of staying happy. And in terms of things I've caught up with, working on ACW. Excel number 108 will be out. I mean, the hope is that it will be out by next week, but I don't want to promise anything. But probably if I want to say it'll come out next week, look for it around Thursday. Thursday will probably be the sweet spot in terms of Excel 108 coming out, and then Impulse, I believe 112 or 113. I forget the number at this point. That will come out probably the following on Sunday, next Sunday. But again, don't put this on me. I'm not making any promises. I'm just giving you a hopeful spot of where they may be this upcoming week. That's all I'm saying. In terms of anime, I've caught up with Attack on Titan, the final season. I have to catch up on that. It's been great, by the way. Fucking Attack on Titan, to me, Attack on Titan, honestly, is arguably the greatest anime of all time. I know a lot of the purists, and I know a lot of the old school anime fans like myself are going to be mad about that. I don't give a shit. You got to witness greatness when it's here right now. So Attack on Titan's been superb this season. It's a phenomenal series. It's honestly, to me, it's arguably the best. Say what you want. That's how I feel. Watching ReZero, having a great season right now with that as well. What else am I watching? Jujutsu Kaisen I'm watching. I gotta watch an episode, but that's been dope. What's it? Kenodo? I've been watching that as well. Yo, redo of Healer is some wild shit, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Let's see. Let me ask another question here. Let's see. Anyone you see as a breakout wrestler in wrestling overall? in terms of breakout, in terms of people that have potential to be great compared to where they are now, I'd say take KENTA from AEW. She's really been impressing me as somebody that can really be a big-time deal if they treat her properly and if she improves properly. I think you have something in there. I think Anna Jay also, a little bit less than Tay, but I think she has something as well. She has some sort of presence behind her. Who else would I say? Ricky Starks. I think Ricky Starks is a guy that oozes machismo, oozes charisma. And he's a good worker, too, by the way. So, and that's someone that I've been saying is a good worker since NWA. So, look out for Ricky Starks. Gotta shout out Hook. Taz's son, Hook. And listen, I said this week on Twitter, but shit, Hook for the G1 this year. If we're gonna do an AEW New Japan partnership, I want Hook in this year's G1. Goddammit! If you gotta fly him on a baggage and hide him and triple bubble wrap him, I don't give a damn. I want Hook in the G1 so he can suplex motherfuckers until Suzuki headbutts him to death and humbles him greatly. That's what I want to see. That's what I need. I need that like black tar heroin. That's what I need in my veins. I need that in my soul. I think I'm about to drink in a few minutes. God damn it, thank God. Who else is a breakout star? Breakout star, man. And I'm trying to think of a WWE one, but it's like, fuck me, bro. Sad. Well, I mean, Bianca Belair, but she's pretty much getting that rocket ship now. I'd say Mustafa Ali, but it feels like that's going to be not as much as people think it's going to be, so. I don't know, man. But those will be some answers I would give you. Clark Connors, obviously. Clark Connors of New Japan. That guy's got something, bro. I've been watching some New Japan Strong here and there. That dude's really good as a young lion, quote unquote. What is the future of Lars Sullivan and Steve Cutler after they were released from WWE? In terms of Lars Sullivan, I think he's done. Maybe an Impact or some other regional promotion out there will pick him up out of curiosity, but I think I do believe him when he says that he's done with wrestling since he's now gone from WWE. And you know, the writing was on the wall with him for a while anyways, with the way some of his past posts on forums were brought up, and then his anxiety issues that caused him to no-show, including one SmackDown to where he was supposed to feud and have a match with John Cena last year at WrestleMania. Not good, man. The writing was on the wall for him, quite frankly. As for Steve Cutler, I could see him in Impact, maybe Ring of Honor, but he's kind of a run-of-the-mill guy. Like, I know I've heard he's pretty good, but he's kind of your run-of-the-mill guy. He's like really nothing you would see as special, so I don't know if there's going to be really much use for him down the road. But we'll see. I could be wrong. Do you think Asuka could bring in her Kana clown gimmick? At this point, I don't want her to, because like if she does, because look, here's the thing. Asuka is very comedic, and she's very charismatic in terms of what she can do. My fear is that if she brought in that clown Kana gimmick, which I know she excels at, it would just be an excuse of the WWE to use that gimmick and completely strip it away from what made it great. They would use it the wrong way, and they would promote it the wrong way to where it would completely make you sick of it. Because that's what this company does. That's what this company always does with gimmicks that have so much potential. You have no idea how upset I was when America Alpha was called up to the WWE main roster and they didn't do jack and shit with them other than a bullshit SmackDown tag team title run, and then they split them up. I was such a big fan of the American Alpha team, along with the Revival, when they were having their stellar classics on NXT. I really did foolishly think that America Alpha could be something in the main roster. and I was clearly wrong. And it's just a goddamn shame that Jason Jordan got himself injured, and he's pretty much a producer now, and Chad Gable is just wallowing in mediocrity, doing nothing, wasting his prime years to simply do nothing in that company. It's like, that's somebody that should be given a G1 in New Japan. That's somebody that should be tangling up with Omega and Pac in AEW. And here he is in WWE doing just bullshit, doing nothing for himself, doing nothing that's going to benefit him in the long run. I look at someone like Otis, who I liked his storyline with Mandy Rose and Tucker and Sonya Deville last year. One of the very few storylines that I liked from WWE last year. And then they just fucked him over now to where he's not doing anything anymore. There's no hope, folks. Like, if you want to watch WWE for the great matches that they give you and sometimes certain segments here and there that they might give you, fine, do that. I'm happy for you. Good for you. But stop hoping that this company's going to do right for their entire roster and they're going to go back to what it used to be. Those days are over, dude. They've got their money. They've got billions of dollars in money. They don't give a shit no more, guys. Just watch it, because if you can just watch that company if you want to get a great match from certain people, or if you want to watch your favorite superstar there. But stop hoping that this company's gonna make superstars anymore, or they're gonna make this company thrive truly again. It's just, it's a waste of time and effort and energy. There are so many better companies. There are so much better professional wrestling companies out there that will give you what you want as alternatives or what have you, that just waiting that the WWE is going to do right by you, it's pointless. Stop hoping. It's bad for your health. I'm sorry, that's the only way I can put it. It's bad for your health. Yo, Miz should have cashed in on Roman at the Royal Rumble. Agree or disagree? I completely disagree. Miz should not be the guy to end Roman's great title reign. That's definitely not what I would have done. You can't have handouts. That's not how wrestling works. Well, that's my point. It's like, look, these wrestling fans of today, just because that they get a tweet, a retweet, or a like, or they've met them at a meet and greet or a wrestling event outside of the social media bubble, they feel like they're best friends. So you have no idea how many times I will scroll through my timeline and I'll see people, even people that I follow, just tweet about a wrestler that's like, oh, they're gonna be the next big deal. Oh, they had a great match. Oh, this girl should be signed to AEW or WWE or whatever. And it's like, then I'll look at them and it's like, dog, this dude or this chick is basic. These guys are subpar. Stop gassing up these people because you like them. Just because you like them outside of wrestling, just because they might be nice to you here and there, online or offline, doesn't mean they should be given this chance of, oh, well, they should be a world champion, or they should be signed to the main roster, or they should be given this amount of money. It's like, get the fuck out of here. That's probably part of the reason why this business is in the shape it's in. Stop handing out shit to people that don't deserve it. And I'm sorry if that's going to hurt a lot of your guys' feelings, but I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. That's the problem. If you need to fix this business, you need to make sure you get the best of the best. Okay? Listen, I like AEW, but that bullshit signing Abaddon, nah, she's not good. She's shit, quite frankly. And her gimmick is low rent. It's indie-rific. I'm sorry. I know that she has a fan base out there. I know people like her. To me, I think she's bottom of the barrel bad. And that match with Hikaru Shida, it's like, if you can't have a good match with Hikaru Shida, then you're not that good. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. I don't know. Just stop gassing up these talents as if they're great. Stop gassing up these people, these wrestlers that you like, as some sort of great thing. It's like, knock it off. Knock it off. Okay. What did you think that old fuck Vince thought about Goldberg losing? I heard he didn't see the Royal Rumble. Well, regarding the rumors that were out there this week, Vince was not at the Royal Rumble and on Raw, so I want to say that, he just lost his brother a couple of days ago, so that might be a reason for that, but it could be other things as well. I don't think he was also in the conference call for this upcoming quarter report this week, too, so who knows? But, I said it on Twitter, and I thought the same, and it was the right decision. I didn't think Drew was losing to Goldberg. I didn't think Drew was dropping the title to Goldberg. Drew's been a very good champion for them, so there was no reason for Goldberg to come in and completely take that away from him. So, and I think the company, come hell or high water, they do like Drew to an extent to where he can be a world champion for them. So, there you go. JC, your thoughts on Schleg Daddy, or aka OTRS Central, if you have seen his videos on YouTube before. Dude, I was following OTRS Central back when they were Off the Ropes show in 2010, 2011. I've been a fan of this for years. Now, with Schleg Daddy, like, he has strong opinions of wrestling that I do agree with, and that they need to be more emphasized in a bigger picture. And then there are other opinions that I disagree with because he comes off as a WWF boomer, quite frankly, in a lot of reasons, and he shits on a lot of things about AEW that he clearly will not see from an open mind because he didn't grow up on that, which, you know, it's like, well, you should know what you're talking about if you're going to talk in that strong opinion, but I understand that you didn't grow up into it, so you have a different philosophy than the current philosophy. I'm a middle-of-the-road guy. It's like, I grew up on the old school era of professional wrestling in terms of how things are properly done, but at the same time, I am more accepting of the new school of wrestling in certain ways, quite frankly. Not all of them, but certain ways, like AEW does, or even to an extent like I don't know, fucking I don't know, Ring of Honor, that too. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I've followed OTR Central for years. I've had him subscribed for years when he would go on his rants about assume jump jam position, and his comments about the WWE when he would talk about things that I was talking about on my newscast years ago that time. So yeah, OTR Central, he's a good follow. He'll tell you things that you might not want to hear, but you need to hear, which I can always respect when someone does that. So yeah, I've been a fan of his for a while. Let's see. Crim Rocket. I would really recommend watching RCCW. It's a great colleague. Yeah, RCCW, it's one of those colleagues out there that they're doing their own thing. They're trying to build their own niche, if you will, in CAW. So, you know, give them a shout out, give them a subscription if you want to. But yeah. Hashtag Hook for Tokyo Dome 2022. You damn right. I'm telling you, I want Hook in that G1. Y'all think I'm joking? Dude, listen. I think if I trust Taz to train Hook, I think Hook is somebody that can truly, really wreck shit in the G1. Can you imagine him just flipping people out like Naito and Ibushi on their necks? I mean, I don't want them paralyzed, but I mean, what Hook wants, Hook's gonna get. You know what I'm saying? That man is a goon. I don't give a damn what anyone says. His presence, I've seen goons like that in my lifetime, bro. That dude's a goon. That man listens to OG the Juice Man in the shower, bro. Pause. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Carl Fredericks is good too. Yeah. Carl Fredericks is good too. I was actually saying that Carl Fredericks was going to be the breakout star out of the LA Dojo guys, but Clark Connors has really been showcasing himself very well too. I really like how he's improved throughout the years, quite frankly, in the dojo. So, but it just shows that Shibata once and for all is the GOAT, and two, that Shibata really knows how to train his dojo, his young lions, to really be the best they can be. So, so good for them and good for him. Oh, but he's happy. Chad Gable is happy. Durr. Of course, you know. Yeah, Chad Gable, he's getting paid a lot of money. He's on SmackDown almost every other week, so clearly he's really living the dream. Clearly he wants to be there. Just, drones are so exhausting. Drones are so insufferable to reason and conversate with. Why? There's a difference between drones and WWE fans. There's a reason why I say the word drones when I address people that are so pro WWE. Because with WWE fans, yeah, they might not be fond of saying AEW New Japan, and they might actually really do like WWE currently, but they will acknowledge when the WWE is mediocre. They will acknowledge when the WWE is not all that good and they have problems that they need to address. And those people that I will always give the time to talk with, because there's, a discussion to be had there. There can be some reasoning within that discussion. With drones, there's none whatsoever. There's no reasoning with them. There's no reason to talk to them. There's no way to talk to them. They are pro WWE. They will defend it to the death. They will completely shit on everything and everything possible in order to make WWE look better than they are when they're not, which is stupid. But there's no point in talking to drones. All you can do is just ignore them or mock them, quite frankly. Bully them. I don't know. But, yeah, it's come to the point where I've just completely ignored them. It's like, I'll make fun of drones. I'll call them out for their bullshit. But other than that, I have no wish to talk or conversate with them. They're in their own bubble. They argue in bad faith. They don't want any other company to succeed other than the precious Fed. They want AEW to fail. They want New Japan to come to the WWE. I don't respect that, and I don't respect what they stand for. Period. And for people that get mad at me for calling them drones, get fucked. I don't give a shit. Get some better skin or get some thicker skin. Madhouse Entertainment, my boy Adam. What's up, Hakeem? Sorry I'm late. No problem, man. Although I'm about to wrap this up in a few minutes. I'm late, so if this was asked already, sorry, but thoughts on the New Japan Pro Wrestling TV deal? Yeah, I kind of briefly mentioned that earlier, but apparently New Japan Pro Wrestling is now going to be a part of the Roku channel, and they'll be having their own show every Thursday starting this upcoming Thursday. I think it was a good idea. Now, I thought it would have been some big announcement as it came to the whole AEW KENTA thing, but this is a good announcement too. It just looks like New Japan are not giving up on it. They're not giving up on expanding in the U.S. Now, I know there's a lot of hurt feelings with New Japan and AEW because AEW left when New Japan were just starting to expand and they were going to use the Elite as part of that chess piece of making the New Japan U.S. expansion happen out the gate, and then AEW happened and they took away all that momentum. So, but now Harold's gone, or is basically on his way out. So now New Japan and AEW have been able to reconcile, seemingly so, I guess. And now they're going to be partnering up, and that is huge news. Now, a lot of people are talking about how this might not be a full partnership because KENTA and Jeff Cobb are AKA freelancers, and they are more so on the U.S. side of things when it comes to New Japan, so this might not be a full-on partnership, but quite frankly, any partnership at this point between these two is good for them, it's good for the business, it's good for the talent, so I'm all for it. But yeah, the New Japan TV deal, it's good for them. They're back on the saddle with that. They're looking to expand in the U.S., and maybe this deal with AEW is going to be something to where they can really get more eyes into their own product. So good for them. Good for New Japan. Happy birthday to the late Jay Dilla. Yes, today is Jay Dilla and Nujabi's birthday today. Rest in peace to the greats. I'll never forget listening to the Donuts album with Jay Dilla back when I was younger, and it put me a lot at ease. It put me in a good mood a lot of times. Nujabi's, that goes without saying. He's basically the Asian Dilla. Made a lot of great songs within anime, obviously. Created that iconic Samurai Champloo song, which you can always hear on ACW anyways. But I do love that song, and yeah, sucks. I really do wish that, Dilla and Nujabes were still here with us, because I think they could still be making some great music to this day, which we definitely need. But yeah, rest in peace to the GOATs, and happy birthday. Speaking of which, thoughts on Larry King's death? Yeah, Larry King has been such a mogul. He's been such a public figure for many years. Even when I was a young infant, Larry King was the toast of the town on CNN. So, unfortunate to see him pass away. And all you can hope for is that 2021 will fare better than 2020, which I think it will. Quite frankly, I don't know. I just have a feeling that it will. I could be completely wrong, but I really do hope that things start to get better. for a lot of people for many reasons. Oh, and Screech too. He mentioned. Yeah, Dustin Diamond. Yeah, passing away too was pretty sad. Apparently, he passed away from stage 4 pancreatic cancer, which you know what that is. You know what that means. So, but unfortunate to hear about that. Screech, obviously, a big culture icon with Saved by the Bell, and him growing up older years later. I remember him being a part of TNA, and I think he wrestled some sort of fat guy. I forget how long ago that was, but I remember him doing that. He did like celebrity boxing too, and then he did VH1 Celebrity Fit Club. Oh my God, he was the greatest heel on that show, bro. I was so enamored. I was so infatuated with the way Screech or Dustin Diamond would always find a way to make people hate him. He even made that hard-ass Sergeant Judge just go on a full rant while he's standing there like, now that's an insult. Now you're insulting me. It's like, he was such the greatest smarmy heel dick. You know what I'm saying? So, and I can see why a lot of wrestling promotions wanted to bring him in like that. He was a great personality, and for a lot of people, he will be missed. So, rest in peace to Larry King, and rest in peace to Screech. Rest in peace to Jay Dilla. Rest in peace to Nujabes, man. Well, that was very morbid. All right, let's get some last questions in here. If you guys have any more questions, if you have any other questions you need to post on the live chat, do it so right now before I call it a day, before I start getting ready for the Super Bowl myself. Madhouse Entertainment, could you see New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, Impact, AAA, NWA, and Ring of Honor having some form of clash of the champions show in, say, 5 years? Yeah, I mean, I tweeted this earlier this week about, and look, I could be wrong. I could be very well wrong about how long this will happen or how far it will go, but I said something to the effect this week that I see for AEW's All Out this year some form of an interpromotional supercard. I just, something's telling me that AEW, they have the pulse of the wrestling world today to where they are able to dictate and they are able to predict what the fans want, and pretty well for the most part. If they're able to pull out some sort of interpromotional supercard of a pay-per-view for All Out with those companies like New Japan and AAA and Tokyo Joshi and Impact, dude, man, I mean, a lot of people are gonna shit on it saying, "Oh, it'll just be Super Clash. It'll just be like the Super Clash of the '80s, back when the World Class and AWA and Florida Championship Wrestling all partnered together as a one last ditch effort to take out WWF, and it didn't draw, and they all went out of business." It's nothing like that. Okay, let's pump the brakes there. Okay, but yeah, to your question, I definitely do see some sort of Clash of Champions supercard happening in the near future. Maybe not as soon as this year, with the whole pandemic still on the air, but up in the air, quite frankly. But yeah, 5 years is probably a good time period as to when that can get done. So yeah, I can see it. And AEW, and to an extent, New Japan will probably be the ones leading that charge to make it happen. So. And like I said, if that does happen, it'll be the antithesis of WrestleMania in the modern form. So we'll see how that goes. But I am excited for the possibilities of all this happening, quite frankly. Jon Moxley is the most valuable asset in wrestling today after this past week with the AEW New Japan Intimate Partnership. And apparently for Impact 2, Impact wants to work with Moxley 2 in the future, according to Rocky Romero. Well, folks, it's time to come to grips. It's time to finally admit it. It's time to finally just say the obvious that nobody wants to say because they don't want to hurt people's feelings. They don't want people to get mad. They don't want to be taken out by the mob. They don't want moral outrage and all that bullshit. But folks, it's just time to come clean. It's time to admit it. Jon Moxley leaving the WWE was the single greatest thing he could have ever done. And I'll even go a step further. Jon Moxley, these past 2 to 3 years, has done more to make himself a Hall of Famer than anything he did as Dean Ambrose. Come at me, bitches. Come the fuck at me. I know a lot of you Shield stans who want to regard the Shield as the greatest stable of all time just because WWE says it to get them over, even though they were a stable during a down period in the WWE. It's time to cut the bullshit, folks. I've said this before. The Shield are kind of overrated. I'm gonna put it out there, folks. Gonna put it the fuck out there. The Shield are kind of overrated. Because all 3 Shield members, well, I mean, Roman Reigns now is kind of fighting against the grain, but then again, I don't really regard the Universal World title as anything as a world title, but that's just me. But let's just talk about it. All 3 members of the Shield didn't have great world title reigns. Reigns' first title reign was shit. Rollins was even worse. Ambrose had a pretty subpar reign. Probably the best out of the 3, but nothing spectacular. Folks, Dean Ambrose, for all intents and purposes, yeah, he was a Grand Slam champion. Yeah, he won the world title. But at no point in his WWE career was Dean Ambrose valued as more as he is right now. You cannot sit here and hear my voice and pretend to argue with me that Dean Ambrose, at his highest peak, which would be him being WWE champion, was more valuable than him basically being the bridge to AEW and New Japan, among other things he's done post-WWE. You cannot sit here, you cannot stand here, you cannot be here and try to bullshit your way on that one. I believe Jon Moxley, he was my Wrestler of the Year last year in 2020 because of so many things he did. The matches that he had, the moments that he had, the importance that he had, not just in the companies that he worked for, but for the business in general. Jon Moxley, to me, is the franchise of this business right now. You have your Kenny Omegas, you have your Okadas, you have your Roman Reigns. I get all that. I really do. But in terms of what long-term investment, in terms of what long-term planning is all about, if all the stars align, Jon Moxley will go down as the man to start it all. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, Dean Ambrose, compared to what Jon Moxley is now, was a geek. I hate to be Mini Alvarez. I hate to be Mini Alvarez here, but the facts are the facts. Dean Ambrose was portrayed as a geek, even when he was WWE champion. At the end of the day, it's clear that Dean Ambrose was not going to be valued any higher than where he was. And that's why he left, because Dean Ambrose, who is now Jon Moxley, knew that he could be so much more to this business than where he was at WWE. And he has proven each and every single one of the haters, doubters, and critics wrong. Every single one of them. Current New Japan Pro Wrestling US champion, a former AEW World Champion, one of the longest ones, quite frankly the best World Champion of last year. A man that wrestled both companies. What is there to argue? You can like Dean Ambrose because you were a fan of him in WWE, fine, that's your prerogative. But let's compare and contrast here. Dean Ambrose is a more hot commodity now than he was as WWE World Champion. And that is an indictment not just on Dean Ambrose, the character that WWE promoted, but that is an indictment on the company itself. And the fact that they had somebody as charismatic, as much of a good worker, of a good character as Dean Ambrose, and they wasted all of it. I remember being so geeked up when Dean Ambrose came into this company being Dean Ambrose in FCW, which, by the way, FCW is still better than NXT. Get fucked. Regardless, going back to my point, when Dean Ambrose came to FCW, I was so happy. I was so happy to what he can do because I saw what he did in CZW. I saw what he did in Dragon Gate USA. I saw what he was all about and how he can be the next star that they were looking for. And they had him, and they let him slip away. Listen to the promos that Dean Ambrose is cutting right now. How do you let that kind of guy go out of your hands? How do you let him go? Look at the matches, the character that he's not reinvented, The potential that he now has, the aura, the presence, the look, the promos that he's cutting. How do you let star potential like that slip out of your hands? On purpose. And that's why I get so irritated when I hear Cesaro resigned. Or other people that I do like from the WWE, they resign. Because you know that those people are not going to be used at their full potential. They're simply there to collect a paycheck. They're simply there for security. They're simply there to wrestle 2 or maybe 3 times a week and go about their regular life after they clock out. And it's just like, fine. If you want to be that, if you want to live that, fine. But it's like a Cesaro, a Chad Gable, a Ricochet. Look at Ricochet. He's a perfect example. Compare Ricochet to all his comrades that were coming out at the same time as he was. Pac, Will Ospreay, Phoenix, Zack Sabre Jr., Kota Ibushi. Ricochet was a part of that class. And look at where each and every single one of them are at right now compared to Ricochet. Look at them. Will Ospreay is arguably the best gaijin right now in New Japan, if not in Japan right now. Pac, he's doing big things right now in AEW. Phoenix, arguably the best high flyer in the world next to Vikingo, in AAA. Zack Sabre Jr. running around Suzuki Gun, competed for the tag team titles. Kota Ibushi is the current IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion. He is the man in New Japan right now. Look at all those people I just named. And then compare them to where Ricochet, a man that a lot of people thought was going to be so big. A man that had so much high potential, either as Ricochet from the Indies or Prince Puma from New Japan, from Lucha Underground, And look at where Ricochet is now. He can't even get in the main roster consistently right now. He's losing to Angel Garza on Main Event now. Fuck me, bro. Fuck, is that horrible. So stop trying to hope this company will see potential in your stars. It's not going to happen. This company is ran by satisfied money, satisfied revenue, and satisfied security. And they are running on a nostalgia they have built for all these years and decades. That is it. Stop hoping. Stop hoping that Mustafa Ali is going to be this. Stop hoping that Ricochet is going to be that. Stop hoping that Matt Riddle. Stop hoping that Keith Lee. Stop hoping that this guy or that guy is going to be the new face or the new super or mega star of the WWE. Enough. The brand is the draw. Nobody else. Unless you're Brock Lesnar or maybe Triple H or to a lesser extent Roman Reigns. But other than that little small circle, nobody else is above the brand. Nobody else draws more than the brand. That is the message this company has sent for years now. And it's time for all of you to start realizing that. Because I'm tired of hearing you guys on social media and on Twitter trying to, shit on this company, but then you'll still watch it and try to hope that they'll do good and they'll do right. Enough. Stop hoping. They don't care no more. They barely cared about you in the first place. Now they're just going to openly shit on you because they feel, oh, they'll be back. They're bitching, but they'll be back. They always come back. That's their attitude. These motherfuckers on Raw are drawing 1.6, 1.7 ratings overall. And they are still coming at you saying, oh, we don't really need those guys. With the trajectory and how it's going right now, 5 years from now, they might be drawing barely 1.3, 1.2. And they'll still have the attitude like, we don't need them. And because you guys keep still coming back. Stop hoping. Just watch WWE for a great match here once in a while, or because you might have a favorite superstar that you do follow, maybe. But stop hoping that this company's going to get better. It's not. Stop fooling yourself. It's ridiculous now. What a little tangent there. But other than that, yeah. Jon Moxley, to me, he has excelled beyond, no pun intended, his potential compared to where he was in WWE. He is the hot commodity of wrestling right now. He is the man of professional wrestling right now. And he is, like he said in the promo, all roads of professional wrestling go through him. And that is a goddamn fact. Period. I don't need any Ambrose or Shield stands or WWE drones on my timeline trying to argue with me on this. You can't. right. And Hakeem, if you keep preaching, ACW will become Anime Church Wrestling. Oh, that good old boy Hakeem don't work on the Sabbath. I tell you that. Do you think we will see Dominic Mysterio with the title in the near future? Yeah. I mean, he's Rey Mysterio's son, so he'll have a title eventually. He might be Cruiserweight Champion down the road, or maybe Intercontinental U.S. Champion there. World Champion, I don't know. I don't know about that. Give me a couple of years if I'm even watching that company at that point. But, you know, in terms of him holding a world title, he'll definitely hold a world title. For sure. All right. And the ending of his WWE run made me sad. Yeah. They valued Dean Ambrose so much they didn't even pay him fully. They paid him, what, $400 for his final show there? Get fucked. Yep, all right. That looks to be the end of the questions in the chat. So, with that said, I want to thank everybody for joining me for this early newscast. Adam got one more thing here. Thoughts on Dexter Lumis? Yeah. I saw it on TNA called Sam Shaw. I was kind of indifferent then. I'm kind of indifferent now. Dexter Lumis is just kind of one of those examples of Hunter trying to book too smart for his own good. And it's like, I'm sorry, folks. Triple H is not a good booker, to me. Sorry. That's just somebody that, you know, does this for a living with CAW. Just to me, I don't find Triple H to be a really good booker, if not a consistent booker at all. He just kind of books the moment. He kind of just books when he feels like he wants to book certain people here and there, and it just shows. It just shows on the show. You know, people just turning heel for no reason, and if they do have a reason, they get hot for a month, then they just cool off for the next couple of months. It's Triple H is inconsistent, and that's why I really don't like his booking in NXT. All right, and Fluke Dog, why did UWO's Katsuki Bakugo arrive on AEW victory just like Natsu Dragon Neil attacked the Horror Glory? I don't know. You'll have to ask Jason Brown with that with UWL. I do know that Natsu is banned from UWL for the time being. And Bakugo, I have no idea why he came out to spear the ever-loving shit out of Sasuke. But speaking of AEW victory, go check it out. It's on demand right now, the Megavich channel. Judging by a lot of your reactions and responses, you guys really enjoyed it. Thank you guys very much for watching it and posting all the responses you guys did. I really did appreciate it. I have watched that pay-per-view back and forth multiple times. It truly was one of my favorite shows, at least recently, that I've recorded and produced and commentated on. It was, I had fun doing it. To me, all the matches didn't miss to me. So, I want to thank you all for that. All right, there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here because the Super Bowl is coming in an hour, and I need to start preparing myself. So there you guys go. Thank you guys very much for joining me for the newscast. The next newscast, it won't be next week, but I'm gonna try to do it the week after. So not this upcoming week, but the week after, I might have a new newscast. If we have some sort of breaking news or some sort of shit that goes down this upcoming week, we'll do an emergency newscast then. But expect a new newscast 2 weeks from now, I guess. Also, we did the AEW draft, so if you guys did not check that out, go check that out on the channel. We will have our first ever newscast event where we will be booking matches with our draft picks in March, so I'll give you guys details and information on that. AEW Excel, the sweet spot will be this upcoming Thursday with Excel 108, but that's not a promise, but that's where I would like for that to be. And then Impulse 112 or 113, whatever it is, that'll be next Sunday, hopefully. But don't hold me to that. Other than that, I think that is all. Yeah. All right. You guys enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Whatever you guys pick, just make sure you guys have fun. Be safe. And don't do anything you wouldn't regret later. Bucks versus Chiefs. You guys have fun. It should be a hopefully good game. And I'm going to get drunk now because that's what I like to do. So, with that being said, I'm going to get prepared. Thank you guys for joining me for the newscast. I will see you guys for the next newscast. This is Hakeem Johnson signing out, telling you guys to stay cool. Stay cool. See you guys later.